collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Beast Combiner 2-pack of Optimus Prime and Lionblade from the Transformers Rise of the Beast line from Hasbro. You can see this is part of the Beast Alliance subline, and I'm kind of sad we're kind of getting towards the end of this. I believe there's only one more release that they've shown us that, is out now, but I don't know if there's too much else on the horizon. And I've been having a lot of fun with this subline, and I'm kind of bummed that it's coming to an end. I mean, it makes sense. The movie's come and gone, and the toy line is dwindling, moving on to other things. But I had a lot of fun with these, between the Weaponizer 2-packs and the Combiner 2-packs. They were neat. So here we have Optimus Prime with a white lion. Again, not featured in the movie at all, but looks really neat. You can see a little bit of artwork down here showing the toy. Think that looks pretty cool. We have the standard open packaging here. Everything's just tied onto the card. Nothing really going on the bottom. Over here you have some artwork of Optimus Prime. Over here, close-up of Optimus, again saying Beast Combiner 2-pack. And then over here on the back, we have some product shots. So the Lion does not have a robot mode. It just becomes armor for Optimus, but he does have an alt mode of the truck. So we'll take a look at all of that. I'm going to go ahead and get him off the card here, and we'll take a closer look. Here are Optimus and Lionblade out of the packaging. We'll put Optimus off to the side and we'll take a look at Lionblade real quick. Now, the more I'm looking at this, I don't necessarily know that it's a white lion. It's kind of a light gray. Still looks good, but I'm wondering if they're doing that to combat some of the yellowing problems they've had recently. So instead they're just doing a really light gray to kind of make it look white. I don't know. Could be. I think it looks okay, though. If that's the case, I'm honestly okay with it. I'd rather have a light gray lion than a yellowed lion later on. But we have some really nice paint applications. You know, the gold for the mane, I think, looks really nice and sharp. Have the blue eyes there, the black on the nose. The head really, really looks nice. Can't open and close the mouth at all. It would be nice if you could, but because of the way this whole head comes off as an accessory piece, they decided not to put any articulation in the lower jaw there. Would have been cool. Over here we have some paint for what will be the chest plate in the combine mode. And then of course we have the tail/weapon accessory that has some really nice gold paint as well. And that just kind of slides in here to a little groove to give him his tail. The only articulation you really have here is the legs, and that's really just for the transformation. But it does give you a little bit of movement if you wanted to kind of have him rear back on his hind legs or something like that. Other than that, not really a ton of posability for this guy. We're going to go ahead, put him off to the side, and we will focus up now on our Optimus Prime. So all in all, I think he looks pretty good. He looks a little chubby in the midriff section here, I do have to admit. I think the head sculpt is nice. I think the paint applications there are pretty nice. The blue for the eyes, it's in there, but it's kind of sunken back and it's hard to see. But the silver paint there is pretty nice. A little bit of silver here as well. He has black windows. Have a couple different color plastic pieces here used to break it up a little bit. You can see that the thighs and the hands are black. And then we have some black plastic down here. I don't believe that is paint. I believe that is just a different color piece of plastic inlaid there, but I could be wrong. No heels or anything like that, but he's got some decent articulation. The head's on a ball joint, so that can move around. You can see that the whole back here is hollow, so you can see where the ball joint is. So you can spin side to side, tilt up and down. Can't really tilt side to side all that much. You kind of have a butterfly joint due to the transformation. And it's kind of weird because it feels like it's supposed to kind of click more to get in place. But it's kind of just like a stiff, like it doesn't like click into place. It just kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. Like as you push it in there, the plastic just kind of wedges in. And I guess it just uses friction. I'm just worried that over time that could wear down. But you kind of have to like push it up. And then see, this one kind of kicks back. I wish it was like a soft click. I wish it kind of clicked into place. But you also have a ball joint here in the shoulder, as you can see, out to the side. Spin that all the way around. You have a ball joint here in the elbow, so nice range of motion there. You have a swivel here, kind of in the midsection, is really for transformation, but you can certainly utilize it here in robot mode. Ball joint in the hip, so you can kick forward, kick out to the side, but you can't really kick back all that much because of this giant butt flap here. Some nice paint applications, but we'll get into that in vehicle mode. And then you have a ball joint here in the knee. Mine's a little stiff, but you should be able to move that all around. So good range of motion there with that ball joint. And then from the knee down, one solid piece. So it's honestly not bad. Like I said, I worry about these shoulder joints, and you'll see what I mean when we get into the combine mode. But yeah, so let's go ahead. Let's do a quick comparison here with the Weaponizer 2-pack Optimus Prime. So you can see he's got the blue windows, he's got the black windows. I think the head sculpts are pretty much on par. He might have a little bit more in terms of silver paint, but I still think that looks pretty good. I think the legs over here are a little bit better than over here. And the arms, yeah, not bad. They're about the same. You have a little bit more detail here. You can see because of the way this transforms, they did like this weird smokestack thing kind of molded in there. I kind of like what they did over here a little bit better. So I think just looking at them, I think this guy looks a little better because he has kind of the like fat issue. He's very rotund, and then he's got the giant butt flap. This guy also has a butt flap, but it's a little bit more seamlessly integrated, so you don't see it from the front. And this guy's is very apparent. But overall, I think they're both pretty good. They have basically the same articulation. Yeah, basically the same articulation. So I think just aesthetically, I like this one a little bit better, but this guy's not bad. Wanted to just compare those two. So let's go ahead. Let's get into this guy's transformation. It's a very simple transformation. We're going to start by just spinning the head around 180, dropping it down. We're going to rotate this around to line up the front of the cab there. I also feel like this is really long, and I don't really think it needs to be, but we'll see. One little thing that's kind of neat, this little panel here actually pushes in and rotates up like that. So I guess technically, if you wanted to push that up, he would look a little thinner, but then you would just ridiculously see the back butt flap here, and you'd have all this dead space. So it's up to you, but I do think that was kind of neat how that just pushes up like that. These panels here, of course, are going to come back and peg into each other, like so. And then you're going to take these, and they have these little tabs here on the front, which are going to tab into these little spots right here. So you're just going to kind of lift this back and pop that in there. Very simple. Same over here. Make sure these are still connected correctly. There we go. So as you can see, the cab is pretty much taking shape at this point. You're going to connect the feet down here like that with this piece here in the center. And then you're going to just bring this up, and you can see that there are two tab slots right there, which are going to tab into these two tabs right here and here. So this is just going to come up, pop into place. And there you have your cab mode for Optimus. So here is the cab mode for Optimus. I do really think that this is too long. Just the proportions are not that great. But I will say there's some really nice paint applications here. The silver looks great. The blue for the headlights, the Autobot symbol. You got the silver and then the black windows. And one thing that kind of works out, you can see here that you have the little bit of the window here painted black. And then you have the actual shoulder joint, which is made of black plastic. And so it kind of just all looks like the window is continued all the way over. And that kind of works nicely. I will say, I don't know if that was intentional. I'd like to think it was intentional. But it works out kind of well. So it kind of just all looks like one big window here. And I think that's kind of neat. You have the black arms here. The legs just out here in the back. Rolls pretty decently. Again, just to compare it to the Beast Weaponizer Prime, I think the proportions of this one are just a little bit better. Even though, honestly, one is not much taller than the other. It just looks so much taller. I think because this one's a little bit wider, and so the proportions just work out a little bit, and this one has the really tall grille on the front. And so even though they're not really much taller, I think they're not even really that much thinner. I don't know what it is. This one to me just looks a lot more normal than this one does. Maybe it's the blue windows. I don't know. Maybe it's just the big square grille. But this one just seems more like box-like, and this one just looks really tall, even though they're almost the exact same proportions, which is kind of funny. Taking a look over here, you can see that, again, the cabs, even from here to here, are about the same. The legs are kind of the same. So really, they're very proportionate to one another. It's just kind of what they decided to change color-wise and things like that. He doesn't even have the windows painted over here. It would have been nice if he did, but then you'd have that little bit of gray, and so it might look a little weird, whereas here the black kind of all blends together, and that kind of works. So, yeah, I don't know. I kind of don't know which one I prefer. They're very similar, yet different. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards this one, but again, it's not to put this one down. I just think maybe my personal preference is this one. Maybe it's the blue windows. I don't know. But like I said, it's just so funny how even though they're almost the same width and height, this one just like optical illusion wise looks so much taller than this one, but it's really not. All right, so now for the combination. So of course we can go ahead and take the lion head off and take the tail off. And you can just use these weapons without the rest of the armor if you prefer. So of course he can hold on to the weapon there, and then you can just peg this into one of the spots here on the side. So you can absolutely just kind of have him use this sword and shield type setup here if you don't want to put the rest of the armor on, which I think is kind of cool. I understand they need to do the curvature of the tail, but I feel like this goes so far back that if he were to like wield this, it would be kind of hard to use the leverage to swing it because it's tilted so far back. So I feel like that's a little weird. But, you know, what are you going to do? I do like the lion head. I wish that could sit a little bit deeper on the arm. But again, not a big deal. But I do think they both look kind of cool. So I'll take these off for the time being. And we'll go ahead and get the armor connected. So if you want, you can put this back on. And then we're going to just swing up all of the feet. And you have to be kind of very precise. So when you go ahead and peg this on, you're going to want the lion head facing his right shoulder. So push that there. But you see how this works? So this part is supposed to swing down, but you can see that this part of the arm is very obviously in the way. So if you try to force it, this is going to just like force into this piece, and it could actually cause some damage. So what you have to do when you're bringing this around, so you unhook that, start to bring this down, you have to make sure that you push this all the way in. So this has to go all the way in so that there's enough room to clear that. And it is a very tight fit. As you can see, it just barely fits in that space. Now, why they engineered it that way, I don't know. I feel like maybe they could have put a hinge in here so this could have folded down, or they could have had it connect in a different way, or they could have just maybe widened this a little bit. I don't know. I'm assuming that they use similar molds because all of these cat-like armor pieces, you know, probably share a lot of the same engineering, but that is a very tight fit. So just be careful when you're popping that armor down. You have to make sure to push the arm all the way in so that it doesn't fold down onto this piece here and snap it. But what you're left with is actually pretty cool. I really, really like this armored Optimus head. I think that looks fantastic. Very stylized, very fun. The blue and the gold look amazing. You have the lighter blue for the eyes, kind of silver there. Honestly, it's giving me very like Armada Optimus Prime feels with the color scheme there. Chest plate looks good. Really nice paint on that as well. There is a hinge right here, so you can kind of push this up, but to do so, you'll have to remove this. So you can push this up after the fact. I don't really know why. I guess there is technically a gun in there, but you barely can see it. It kind of gets lost. Of course, you can give him the accessories back here. So we'll give him this axe weapon. And then we'll go ahead and peg this onto the arm. And there you go. There is Optimus with his armor. And he does look cool. I really do like it quite a bit. I just think that thing with the arm is so weird. So again, just be careful with that. But once you get it on him, it does really look neat. I do really like the head sculpt here. I like the chest plate. All the paint applications on the armor look really good. And also I feel like it helps with his proportions because now he has the big shoulder pads and the bigger head, and so the thicker body doesn't look as like weird or out of place. So I think that works. Back still kind of looks like a mess, but as long as you're looking at him from the front, I think he looks pretty good. And just like with the other sets, the armors are swappable, but just be careful because you're probably going to run into the same issue with Prime's arm there, but he can wear the other armors. I kind of like this setup over here. I've got Optimus Primal with kind of a Leo Prime thing going on here. Both of the versions of the, Beast Wars and Beast Wars Second Leader combined together. I think that's kind of fun. It looks really good together, honestly. So really cool that you can swap the armors. I appreciate that. So at the end of the day, I think this set is pretty great. I really like Lionblade, probably my favorite part of the set. I really like him combined with the Optimus Primal Beast Combiner. I think they just look really, really cool together. I absolutely love the head sculpt here. The paint applications are great. The chest looks good. The lion head, I think, looks fantastic. Really, really like him a lot. The Optimus Prime figure is fine. Like I said, there's just something about the way he looks. His proportions look a little off. Even in the vehicle mode, when I showed that the proportions to the Weaponizer 2-pack Optimus are basically the same, aesthetically, I still just think it looks off. And like I said, I think it's just because he has that really long, tall grill. Maybe it's the black windows. I don't know. But it just looks a little off, whereas I think the other one looks a little bit better. But that's not to say that this isn't a good toy as far as the Optimus Prime figure. Although I really don't like the way you run into the arm issue here when you're trying to use the armor. I feel like they could have taken an extra minute and figured that one out, because I'm sure some people are going to pick this up and bust that off without realizing it's a problem. But yeah, for the most part, I definitely think the armor is probably the better part out of the 2-pack. But it's not to say that the Optimus Prime figure isn't good. I just don't think it's as good as the one that came with the Weaponizer 2-pack. But that's kind of the nice thing. You can kind of get both because they're relatively inexpensive. And, just leave the armor on this one the whole time. Once you put the armor on him, I think it really does make this Optimus Prime figure work, because the proportions are a little better. I mean, again, he still looks a little bit of a mess from the back, but I do think he looks really good with the armor here. If you want an Optimus Prime to just be in robot mode or transform into truck mode, then I would say use the Weaponizer 2-pack one for that and just leave the armor on this guy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Am I being too hard on him? Do you agree? Do you think he just looks best with the armor? We'll just leave him like that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.